How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. We're going to be taking this door here. This is a hollow door. This is not a solid door. This is a hollow door. I kind of got a bit of a challenge here. Somebody said I can't make a Dutch door out of this thing. Yeah, we're going to see if it can be done. We're going to go ahead and get all the hinges off this thing, get the doorknob off of it. We're going to cut this door. It's pretty much brand new door. We're going to cut it in half. We're going to try to make a Dutch door. Let's see how this video goes. Alright, now we got everything off of it. We're going to get it marked out where we need it marked to put us a 3/4 inch top on there. It's going to be oak. We're going to put a piece of oak across the top of it. Alright, this is our upper side of the door. This is the upside. Here's our hinge. We're wanting to cut our door just below that hinge right there. And we have a 3/4 inch piece of wood that we're going to put in between here. So what we'll do is we'll mark these all the way across, cut them with our saw. Our saw is going to leave us about an 1/8 inch cut here and an 1/8 inch cut here. That should allow us enough room for that door to pass each other. And then what we'll do is we're going to come down in here later and put our other hinge in here. So we're going to go ahead and get this marked across and then get her cut. Okay, for those of you who don't know what your hollow door looks like, it looks hollow. And I'll tell you what, there ain't much in here worth a nickel, honestly. The door ain't worth a crap. This is cardboard. Can you imagine putting cardboard in your door? Well, that's what we got. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut us a piece of 2x4 that'll go all the way across this thing. We're going to knock this piece out in the center. We're going to take it down a little deeper. We're going to put a T on there because we have a bracket on here that's got to hold up that shelf. We want solid wood in there. So what we'll do is we'll cut it, we'll run it on the planer, we'll get it all planed down enough to where it'll fit down in there. We're going to liquid nail it in there, give it some clamps, or we're going to nail it into place after we get it liquid nailed. Hopefully this guy's going to hold up good. Alright, what I've done here, I got an old Sawzall blade, and I just took it and went down the sides of this cardboard that's in the middle, and made sure both sides are cut off. I just want to go as deep as I need that bracket. Let me show you what the bracket looks like. Alright, this is one of my brackets right here. This is the bracket I'm going to be putting in here. I want it to go as deep as whatever that bracket is because I want solid wood behind this bracket. So that's why we're cutting this cardboard out of here, and we're going to replace it with wood. Right now is the piece that we're going to slide down into the door. We need a piece that'll slide in there, so we got to take this down to about 1 inch. Alright, what we have here is, this is the T. We got this marked out in the center. This is going to go down the center of that door. We're going to liquid nail this thing and then we're going to screw it. So it'll be nice and tight. And then when we put it in the door, we're going to liquid nail this board in between the two pieces. Alright, as you can see, the corner of that is not very thick, so we're going to take that piece out of there, and we're going to run a solid piece all the way at the bottom of this door, because we want it to be good and strong. So we're just going to go ahead and get another piece cut. We'll get it to cut the length of the bottom of that, and then we'll be able to screw it from the sides and glue it. So this top will be nice and strong. Alright, what we're going to do now is put a piece of wood up in here, and you seen we cut the corners out of here so we can make this good and strong across this bottom of this top door. So we're going to go ahead and get us some liquid nail in here, and we're going to do both sides, top and bottom, all the way around this thing. Alright, for this part of the door, it's pretty much done. All we got to do is fill the little holes and put some sandpaper to it. Once it dries up good, we'll sand it off. This piece should be good, and it should be good and strong. So we're going to put it off to the side and get working on our bench and our top for our bottom piece where it's going to come together. Alright, we got the top all done, so we're going to get started on the bottom part of this door. And this is the piece we was running through the planer. And this is the little block that we attached to it. It's all going to slide right down inside this thing, and we're going to get it nice and tight, glue it in there, and then we're going to put some nails in it. And this should make it nice and solid on the top. So that's the next step we're going to do. We're going to just go ahead and get this in. Tight. Alright, now we got that on there, we're going to go ahead and put some nails in this thing. We should be good and strong on this. Should turn out pretty good. Alright, now we're going to be working on the top. This is going to be a little bench where they can sign their papers or whatever they need to do on this little top here. So we're just going to go ahead and cut this off the same width of what the door is. We're going to kind of measure this thing out because our door has a little, we want our whole top to fit on the door, this piece here, and there's an opening right here, a trim board that we're going to have to notch out. And what we're going to do is we're going to round these a little bit, and we're going to cut out for the doorknob over there. We'll let you see that when we get it going. Alright, we got the top all rounded out, nice and pretty, got it sanded down. Now we're just marking out the screws. We're going to put them one every 6 inches all the way across, and one a ½ inch from the outside on both sides. Okay, as you can see, we got these all countersunk down in there. We got all the screws drilled. We're going to go ahead and get it started, get it mounted on the bottom side of the door. But what we're going to do is we're going to glue underneath this with that liquid nail to make sure this guy's going to stay on there good and tight. I think we're good. Alright, as you can see, we got this mounted on, it's glued. We're going to let it set up. We're going to let the glue set up. It's nice and square. We're not crazy about these brackets. I think we're going to get some new brackets. We need something smaller. When we first started this job, we went and bought the stuff. We wasn't sure on what size brackets we needed. So we just bought these. We thought they were small enough. They're not. So we're going to have to get some brackets for it. And like I said, we're just going to let it set up and dry now. And then the next time we come, we'll put the plugs in all the screws. We'll get the door either, I don't know, we may even paint the door, but we're going to fill up all the nail holes and make sure it looks nice to go back on. Okay, we're having a hard time finding the brackets to go underneath here. And so we both thought, me and Danny both thought that we would be okay putting one of these under here, because most of the work you're going to be doing is going to be in the center of this, but I don't think it's really going anywhere. It's actually really sturdy right now. So we're just going to put one of these wooden, this is an oak bracket, so it should hold this up nicely. Okay, we have our little bracket here screwed on. They gave us some little decorative plugs, which we got them in there. And we also liquid nailed this bracket, this whole bracket, to the door and to the bottom of this shelf. And as far as sturdiness, this is pretty sturdy. It's not going to go nowhere. I think we're going to be fine. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some paintable caulk and go over all these little nail holes where we put the board down inside there. So I'm going to go ahead and cover up these with a little bit of liquid nail, or not liquid nail, but just paintable caulk. Now the caulk that I'm using here is actually a paintable caulk, and it's sandable and paintable, so We're just gonna put a little dab in each one of the holes so they're not so recognizable. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to cut out for the hinge here. Danny's going to take the router and run the router in there and just cut that down so our hinge is flush, just like the other ones. Okay, now when we put our hinge in there, it's going to be just the same height as what the other one is, flush with the board. Alright, to make sure that this hinge stays on here and doesn't come off, we're going to mix some 2-part epoxy. This is the same glue, the epoxy I use on my knife handles. This is equal parts epoxy. So we're going to mix a little bit of this up. We're going to mix it up real good and we're going to put it right where that hinge goes on there. Not only are we going to have the screws holding this together, but we're also going to have the epoxy holding the hinge to the door. We do know that this is not a solid door, so we want to make it as strong as we possibly can. So I'm going to put a light layer of this epoxy over this whole area where the hinge is going to go. Now this got about 5 minutes before it dries, so should be good. We're going to go ahead and throw the hinge on here. Danny's going to get her screwed in there. Hopefully we never have to take this hinge off again. Might want to take your extension off there. That's going to be one tight hinge right there. I don't think we'll ever get them screws out. Here, I got a rag. I don't think we'll ever get them screws out or that hinge back off that door again. I think it's there forever. Okay, what we're doing now is these holes are just a little bit too small for my plugs. So we're drilling out every other one right now, and we're going to put the screw back in it and put the plug in it. And I don't know if you can see, but I put a plug in here and it worked out great. You can almost not even tell that the plug is in there. So what we'll do is we'll drill them down in there, go ahead and put our plug in, our screw back in, then put our plug on there, and then we'll sand them off. Alright, we got all of our little plugs in here. You almost can't see them, but I'm sure once we paint them, they got a little bump on them, but I think they'll be okay. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put a bead of caulk, and this is paintable caulk down along this edge. We want to kind of hide our cut. And then we're going to put some little bit of the caulk in each one of these holes where we nailed it together. We already got the other side pretty good. Now, you'll never see that little crack that was in there, and we're just going to go down through here and fill all of our little holes up, and then this project's just about done besides putting it on. Now as far as this door goes, I think we're pretty much finished. All we're going to do now is we're going to set the door handle on there, or the doorknob back on there, and then we're going to get it put up, and if they want it painted, we'll paint it for them. Okay, as you can see, we have a Dutch door here. Now we're going to let it set up. Tomorrow we're hoping to get it put on the wall or put in the door opening, and we'll see how it looks. Now if anybody gives you a challenge, make sure you take it. They said this couldn't be done. You couldn't make a Dutch door out of a hollow door. We got a Dutch door and this is a hollow door. So now the big real test is will it hold up? That we don't know. Over time we'll tell. So tomorrow we'll get it set up, show you guys what it looks like on the wall, or in the door opening. Okay everyone, we got the door up. We finally got it up. I got a couple coats of paint on it, a couple coats of clear on it, and on the back of it, I have a bolt on the back of it. It's a gate bolt. It's a big slide lock gate bolt. Alright, we got inside the door here. Now this is a gate lock, and what I've done here is I've welded a washer on the top of this so it would be more tighter and the door doesn't go back and forth as much. So that's the lock I used on the back side, and it seems to be working great. Now don't forget, we reinforced the hinge on this top, and then when we put this hinge in, we put probably 3-inch screws going back into these studs in this wall to help keep this thing from falling down. We didn't have to do too much to the bottom hinge. The bottom hinge is okay. Up here's where all your weight's going to be on the top. But the door actually seemed to turn out very nicely. I think I did it for less than 60 bucks. I built a Dutch door for less than 60 bucks. So I do honestly think it turned out pretty good. If you guys want to see how the door is doing over time, just leave me a comment. You'll know when the video is posted. Actually, this is probably 2 weeks since the video, before the video, so the video ain't going to be posted for a little bit. But anyhow, if you guys want to know how the door is doing, just leave me a comment. I'll let you know. I'm going to open this door up so you guys see how it opens and closes here. You can see the door opens and closes really nice. No problems at all. I'd like to tell everybody thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Till next time. Oh yeah, don't forget, click the little bell down there if you want them alerts when I send out a video. Till next time.